Live from all over this beautiful land, this is the Testosterone Zone with the fine men, Noel, Keith, and Steve. Take it, boys!
All right, well, welcome to episode 42 of the Testosterone podcast. This is Noel. I'm here with Steve, Keith, and we've got Brett here today as well. Welcome, boys.
Howdy.
Hey there.
Hey, how are we doing?
Everybody rolling in here from Thanksgiving, all right?
Yeah.
We literally rolled in with the butterball.
A few too
Butterball
many
roll in.
Yeah. What added one roll too many, right?
That's right.
No doubt. No doubt. Why have one roll when you can have five? So
That's right.
anyway, well, it's been an interesting college football weekend, that's for sure. There's been some good games. Did y'all see the A&M LSU game last night?
Yeah. 7-0.
That was
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
what I could stay up for.
Yeah, it kept going. I was like, this is never, ever, ever, ever going to end. My goodness. But
didn't seem like it would.
no, unbelievable. It looked like a basketball score at the end of it all, but it's incredible. So
It really did.
and then of course we stunk up the place on the pick five again. Steve,
Of course.
how bad was it for us?
Well, for you, me, and Keith, it was nothing to brag about. So, Noel, you and I finished at 1-4 last week. Keith, you're at 2-3, and Brett, you were the star of this show. You're at 4-1 last week. So, congratulations to you. Yes, sir. And so overall,
Well played.
we had 5 people go 4-1 last week. So Brett, Chris P, Pat, Shane, and Garcia. They all went 4-1, and really overall, we knew this was going to be tougher games, and it proved to be tougher because a lot of people really were at 2 and 3 level. It was pretty amazing how tough they were. For the season, with going with 1 week left, Dr. Ryan still has a two game lead, followed by my dad and Mike, and so it's still tough. They're at the top. One more week, and it could make the difference in this, or we could have a tie, right, Keith?
Absolutely. No ties. We got to do a tiebreaker.
Yep. We don't have a budget for 2 winners. We'll let you know that now.
Yeah. I did not budget that, so we're going to have a sudden death if we have to go there. Somebody could leg wrestle.
Yeah.
A coin toss.
Brett, I don't know if you listened to our episodes in the past, but, we had an episode called Cautiously Pessimistic. As you know, we're Red Raider fans, and it's tough being a Red Raider fan. And so we chose to have backup teams. So Noel's is Alabama, mine's Georgia, Keith's is Clemson. And so we have a backup team that we root for just in case. So last week, all 3 of our teams are undefeated. Rankings, Alabama's number 1, Clemson's number 2, and Georgia's number 4 now. And so, Brett, I'm curious, do you have a backup team?
I don't need a backup team. I'm an Ohio State fan, Buckeye born and raised, so I just roll off the back of them. And, for as long as they'll go, I have my backup teams in the NFL because I'm also a Browns fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's prerequisite as a Browns fan, have a backup team. So who's your backup NFL team?
This year, I have to bandwagon with the Los Angeles Rams. They're just so much fun to watch, and Todd Gurley really helps my fantasy team out.
You got to love that.
Yeah, we're a little excited to watch Pat Mahomes at Kansas City. It's been fun to watch him so far.
Have him on my team, too. Great asset.
I'll tell you, that Rams-Chiefs game was amazing to watch. That was fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, are y'all ready to hear this week's games?
Yep.
Bring it on, man.
Yep.
All righty. Well, the first 3 games, you would expect to hear these. The second 2 games, last 2 games are going to be a little more of a challenge for everybody. So the first game is going to be out of the Big 12. It'll be the Big 12 championship game, the rematch of the Red River rivalry, Texas versus Oklahoma. Now the Pac-12 be the Pac-12 championship game, Utah versus Washington. The SEC, no, this is a big one for you and me. The SEC championship game, Clemson versus Georgia. I'm sorry, that should be Alabama versus Georgia.
Alabama versus Georgia.
Yeah,
unless Clemson jumped conferences.
Yeah.
Last minute decision.
Yep,
that would be one to watch.
And then we're going to pick 2 FCS games, so Division II games. Jacksonville State versus Maine. That is the Gamecocks versus the Black Bears. And then
right.
James Madison versus Colgate. That is the Dukes versus the Raiders. So
Okay.
that should be a challenge to our front runners for the season. See how they can predict these two games.
Yeah.
What was the last game, Steve? Sorry, I was writing down.
James Madison at Colgate.
James Madison. Okay. Colgate. Gee whiz. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I have no clue about those two either. So, all right.
That'll be
So,
good.
as our tradition, when we have a guest, our guest goes first. So, Brett, we'll start with you. Big 12 game, Texas versus Oklahoma. Who do you have?
Yeah, so I know it is near impossible to beat a team twice in a season. So I'm going to take Oklahoma to get their revenge. They've been firing on all cylinders. I've seen Kyler Murray play twice this year. He's incredible. I think Oklahoma's going to take that one actually in what I think could be a runaway game.
Wow. Nice take.
All right.
Nice take.
All right.
Yeah.
Noel, who do you have?
Yeah, I think Brett's right. I think it's hard to beat the same team over and over again the same season. So OU is clicking. I watched Kyler Murray last weekend. He was on fire. So a lot of fun to watch. So I'm going to pick OU over Texas.
Okay, very good. Keith, who do you have?
I'm going to do the same thing. OU.
All right.
I haven't. Every time I pick somebody else, if Texas will win, I should probably pick Texas.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Oklahoma.
I mean, at this point, all three of us are out of it, so it doesn't matter who we pick. But
Right.
it'd
It'd have been weird to give ourselves the package.
Yeah,
That's weird. I should have said that weird differently. Sorry.
Which man?
All right.
yeah. All
Good
right,
times.
As we digress here, for me, this is really a battle between which team do I hate the least, and what, Baker Mayfield last year really ruined OU for me, and
wow.
I haven't recovered from that, so I'm gonna predict Texas to beat OU for a second time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to go out there on an island, man.
Yeah. There you go. I did it. All right, Noel. Pac-12 championship game, Utah versus Washington. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Washington on this one. I got a feeling about the Huskies against Utah. So
Okay.
I think
Very good. Keith, who do you have?
So I'm gonna also pick Washington, although I think Utah. Watching them play last night versus BYU, they're a pretty good team, but I think Washington's gonna pull it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to take Utah. The coach there, Matt Wells, is a front runner to replace Cliff Kingsbury. So excited to possibly root for a coach that'll be leading us back to the elite level of football. So I'm going to take Utah on this one.
All right.
And Brett, who do you have?
So I've picked against Utah every week since they lost their starting quarterback to a season-ending injury. But, I got to do it again. I got to go Washington. Their offense is lethal. Their defense is suffocating. And after what they did to Washington State, I just can't. I can't pick against Washington.
In the snow. No.
I tell you, watching Washington State play week before last, I didn't think they were going to be stopped. So that was an eye opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Keith, the SEC championship game, Alabama versus Georgia. Basically, this is Noel versus Steve.
I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama. I think I don't know if anybody can stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but the reason why I have a backup team is so I can root for them. And I'm going to just stick to my team and take Georgia for this one. Brett, who do you have?
You're not going to beat Alabama. There's no team that will come even close to beating Alabama. I thought I was calling since spring that LSU is going to beat them, and we all know how that worked out. So Alabama all the way.
Yeah. All righty. And Noel?
Yeah, it's no surprise. I'm gonna stick with my team, Alabama. So they're potent this year.
Yeah.
We kid you not, we all will secretly go if they lose.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, I'd love it if they lost.
Yeah, everybody would. Yeah, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
it won't happen. All right, so next game is Jacksonville State versus Maine. I'll lead off with this one. I really have no idea. Their records are sort of similar. So it's basically like flipping a coin. Heads is Jacksonville State, tails is Maine. I don't know. You don't even expect them to play good football in Maine because it's not necessarily a football state, but they're in the playoffs, whatever. So I'm going to take Jacksonville State for whatever reason I just said.
Because Maine's not a football state.
Yeah. I'm taking Jack State. All right. So,
all right,
Brett, who do you have there?
So actually, I'm not lying to you guys. I'm familiar with Jacksonville State, and they're actually a really good program. They've given North Dakota State fits in the FCS. So I'm going to take Jacksonville State on this one.
Okay. Very good.
North Dakota State makes an appearance again.
All right. Noel, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Jacksonville State just because, I don't know, they're the Gamecocks. And I don't even know what a Gamecock is, but I'm going to go with them.
Yeah. Good.
Sounds good to me.
Good thought process there.
Yeah. It seemed legit.
You really picked Jacksonville State because they're from Jack State, man. So
Yeah.
We know how this works. So far we've had Sac State, Jack State, and Ball State, right?
Yeah. And I think they've all won so far, so why not?
Yeah, they've all been winners. Yep. So,
all right, Keith, who do you have here?
I'm going to go with Jack State because Brett. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have a clue.
So. Brett seems to know. So why not?
Yeah.
All right, Brett, we're going to have you kick off the last game, James Madison versus Colgate. Who do you have?
I'm going to take James Madison. Again, another pretty good team that I have heard of. Colgate, I think, is somewhere on the eastern coast. I can't imagine they play that great of football over there. So I will take James Madison to win this one.
Okay, very good. Noel, who do you have?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm going to go with James Madison too. The Dukes.
All righty. Keith, who do you have?
I'm picking the Fighting Fluorides. So Colgate for me.
Well, I'm going to use my wife's thought process in picking a team because she sometimes gets it right. She brushes her teeth with Colgate. So because she brushes her teeth with Colgate, I'm going to take Colgate to win this game. So
that's
there you go.
Man, there you go. Phenomenal logic, dude.
Yeah.
It's healthy, and 4 or 5 dentists would agree with you.
Yes, totally. And I'm painfully aware of the fact that I'm probably going 0-5 this week. So we'll see.
Probably will.
So
this week, those are some good ones.
This week should definitely. Well, we'll decide who the winner is. If we have a tie, we'll figure out what the tiebreaker is going to be. But I'd like to thank all of our listeners for hanging with us for all 14 weeks of the Pick 5. It's been a lot of fun. There's some of our listeners are surprisingly great at picking these games, and probably should be putting money down to Vegas because of it. And
no kidding.
So for example, you look at Ryan for the season, 48 wins, 17 losses. I mean, that's pretty darn good. And
yes, it is.
So some solid results out there. It's been a lot of fun to see everybody's thought process as they pick games, and so I do want to announce that after this contest is over, I'll be setting up a bowl pick'em on ESPN, and we'll send out that link on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll make sure that anybody that listens, all of our friends, family, all stuff, and we get as many people in on this. It should be a lot of fun. There should be some great bowl games out there this year. So hoping everybody continues on to the next contest with us. And guys, that's it for this week's Pick 5.
Awesome.
That sounds good. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. So our team is without a coach at this very hot moment. So news came out that Texas Tech has let go of Cliff Kingsbury. And I don't know about y'all, but it's sort of a bittersweet day. To see him go. It was a good experiment. It was a lot of promise. I think he accomplished a lot of the things that he came here to do. But at the end of the day, I think it was the right decision for the team and the school because look, it's the record is the record. Win loss is what keeps the is what makes it work. That's what people want or win. So when you're not getting wins, you got to make a change. So, but certainly bittersweet.
We were talking about this earlier. When Kirby brought Cliff on, we had just gotten screwed, without even a better word I can think of, by Tuberville, and really set a lot of problems and concerns off. And I honestly think, really, even in hindsight, I still think it was a pretty genius move of Kirby to bring Kingsbury on, because we really needed somebody who is a tech person to come in and try to stabilize the group, I think. Yeah. And so I think really it even in hindsight, I still think it was a good move at the time. And dang, I really wish that it would have been a better ride. And I really wish he would have had more success because, the guy is classy. The guy is respectable. You never heard him talk out of line really for anybody. He's always handled internal struggles internally without causing any kind of drama. He just ran a well-oiled organization, and I hate that it didn't produce W's because I'll tell you what, I wherever he ends up going, I'm going to still root for him because he's a great guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know we talked about this. Couldn't be more impressed by our athletic director. The ability, first of all, to make a tough decision like he did, make the recommendation that we terminate him as a coach, and that was his decision to make, to bring Cliff on in the first place, and he could have stuck to it and forced it to work, and maybe at some point it would have down the road, but he said something that resonated with me, is that we want this football program to be an elite program, and we were nearing that in the past. And so I major respect that and appreciate that that's his expectation, because I know my expectation, y'all's expectation as alumni and fans, is we want to have an elite program, and we want to be proud of our football program. And we got so many great things going on in our athletic program overall. Basketball is doing great. Baseball has been killing it. So many things to be proud of. I was really, as I listened to Kirby talk today, I could really tell that he made his decision with a lot of regret, but knowing this is the right thing for the school, a really right thing for Coach Kingsbury as well, to have a new opportunity somewhere else. And so, super glad we have that guy as our athletic director. Hoping we can hang on to him for as long as possible, because what an asset he has been to our university.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agreed.
Yeah.
And you could tell just if y'all saw I think y'all saw the press conference today. This weighed heavy on him. He handled the questions about this with grace, but you could just tell by looking at his eyes that this was a long, tough, sleepless night. It really was. Mm-hmm. So I do not envy that position to have to do something like that, but I think I'm with you, Steve. I think we've got one of the best athletic directors in the country, and I know with 100% confidence that he'll move us in the right direction. He has on so many other sports.
Yep, he certainly has. He handled himself with very well throughout this whole process, I think, and made the right decisions for the university and frankly for the best decision for Cliff too, because I just don't think he was cut out for the position he was in, and I think he's going to be a great offensive coordinator somewhere, or quarterbacks coach in the NFL, or wherever he ends up. He's got to be successful. He's a competitive guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's young, still has a lot to learn, and who knows where the road may lead. He may be coming back to us at some point down the road, which would be great. Maybe with some head coaching experience, and a few more lessons learned, down the road somewhere else. Maybe there's a different outcome if he ever comes back. But certainly do wish him the best. he still holds a special place, and I think in every Tech alum's heart, and always will. And I hated it that I found myself kind of wishing that he would get let go. But I think it honestly, in business, and and this is a business, you have to let people move on to other positions that they're just not suited for. And
Right.
it's best for them. It's best for the organization. So I think prolonging this another year or two or whatever would have just it wouldn't have been good for either side. So good job to our athletic director. Wish him the best of luck in the search. It's going to be interesting to see who he comes up with, and I trust him. He's got a lot of connections, and they're asking that today during the press conference. That do you think being part of the playoff committee will help you in your search? And he said definitely. He's got a lot of contacts and stuff through that experience that he's going to be tapping into to try to find another coach. So really excited to see kind of where things go. I'm sure the rumor mill is already churning. That can drive you nuts and can preoccupy you if you let it.
If you look at Twitter today, I mean, the only people that haven't been mentioned as potential candidates is the three of us. And I mean, it's incredible.
Hey, the night's young, man. You never know. So
I'm expecting a call any minute.
Yeah, well, judging by our Pick 5 records, they're probably pretty smart.
Yeah, totally.
That's probably right. So it's going to be interesting, though.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Cliff. We'll miss you, and you represented us well, and so we'll always be thankful for that. And he'll always be a Red Raider, and loved and endeared by all Tech fans, and we'll definitely miss having him on the sideline.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I went to the zoo and saw a baguette in a cage. The zookeeper said it was bred in captivity.
Oh.
Is it worth even a drum? Yeah, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
I got one. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
You guys know what kind of magazines cows read?
I have no idea.
Catalogs.
Nice.
I'll laugh at it.
Man. At one of my earlier jobs, we were talking with Brett this week and talking about being in college. One of my first jobs out of college, I used to sell security alarms door to door. I was really good at it. If no one was home, I'd just leave a brochure on their kitchen table.
Wow.
That's funny.
And you know how I'd sign it? I'd write my name in cursive. It was my signature move.
A double. Do you know why melons don't have weddings?
I don't know.
Because they can't elope.
Oh,
who started these bad jokes, man? Jeez.
I know, right?
Steve, you're awfully quiet, man.
So, what nationality is Santa Claus?
Nationality is Santa Claus.
I have no idea.
Don't know.
North Polish.
Oh, God.
That is so bad.
Hey, how do trees access the internet?
How do trees access the internet? I don't know.
They log on.
Oh, God.
So obvious. How do you miss that? That's awesome.
I know, right?
I was about to say it's so obvious. Good one, Steve.
Thank you.
Boom.
Oh, Speaking of signing things and being my signature move, did y'all know I'm a master of forgery?
Oh, really?
Did you know? Yeah, I have all the certificates to prove it.
Keith, stop there.
Okay, I'm done.
I don't know about y'all, but 6:30 for me is hands down the best time on the clock.
Oh, it is. Hands down. Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Oh, man. And with that, we should probably end this episode.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Thanks, everybody, again for listening to this episode of the Testosterone Zone. We're going to continue with our friend Brett from The Road to CFB in just a few days with episode 43. Take care. Hey, thanks again for listening to the Testosterone Zone. We sure had a blast visiting with you. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave us some feedback, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
All Testosterone Zone podcast episodes are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve unless otherwise noted.
The opinions expressed in the Testosterone Zone podcast are our own and not those of our employers, families, parents, kids, dogs, cats, your mom, or any other entity Noel, Keith, or Steve are affiliated with now, in the past, or in the future, or ever.
You know what you call a man with a rubber toe? Have we done that one before?
I think we have. That's Roberto, right?
Yes. Oh, man.
Try another one.
It's still funny.
It really is.
Oh god, I can't find any jokes that suck right now.
Spitting water out of my mouth.
Oh,
Phew. We've reached that part of the night.
yeah.